You are familiar with water bath canning and pressure canning food, but have you ever heard of steam canning? I'll be answering your top 10 questions about steam canning today. Steam canning is a canning method that uses steam to heat jars of food instead of submerging them in boiling water. This method is typically used for high acid foods such as fruits, pickles, and tomato-based products. Basically, if the food is safe to water bath can, it's safe to steam can. Steam canning is safe for high acid foods, but it is not recommended for low acid foods such as vegetables, meats, and seafood. Low acid foods require higher temperatures to kill the harmful bacteria that can only be achieved with pressure canning. To steam can, you will need a large pot with a lid and a rack that fits inside the pot to hold the jars. This rack needs to keep the jars about 2 to 3 inches off of the bottom of the pot. You will also need jars, lids, and a jar lifter for removing hot jars from the pot. You can buy equipment specifically designed for steam canning, but that's just one more piece of equipment to spend money on and then to store. If you have a pot that will work, use that. By the way, welcome to the Old Mayfield Place. I'm Snow the farmer's wife, and I teach you to be more self-sufficient in so many ways, such as growing your own food, using herbal medicine, and preserving food for long-term storage. Not all pots are suitable for steam canning. You need a pot that is tall enough to accommodate your jars and has a snug-fitting lid. It is also preferable to have a pot that has a glass lid with a steam vent so you can see the water boiling and the steam can escape. The processing time for steam canning will depend on the type of food being canned and the size of the jars. Follow the recipe or USDA guidelines for the specific food that you're canning. You can use the same recipes and guidelines for water bathed foods to steam can. Don't forget to adjust the time for your specific altitude. Unless you are using lids specifically designed for reuse, such as the Tatler or Harvest Guard, it is not recommended to reuse lids for any type of canning, including steam canning. Most canning lids are designed for a one-time use only and then should be discarded. After the jars have cooled, check the seals on the lids by pressing down on the center of each lid. If the lid does not move or make a popping sound, the seal is good. Or you can gently tap the lid of the jar. If you hear a high-pitched ring, your jar is properly sealed. If you hear a dull thud, you don't have a good seal and you need to put the jar in the refrigerator to eat in the next few days or reprocess it immediately. You should always check your food for signs of spoilage such as mold or an off odor when you open the jar, no matter how it was canned. Store steam canned food, like all home canned food, in a cool, dark place. Label the jars with the contents and the date so you can keep track of what you have and when it was canned. You should never store any canned food with the rings on tightly, and this includes steam canned foods. Either remove the rings or set them loosely on the jars to save storage space. You can add herbs, spices, or other seasonings to steam canned foods. Follow the tested recipe or use a seasoning mix that has been specifically designed for canning. Because water expands when it's frozen, it isn't a good idea to freeze home canned food no matter how it was canned. Freezing can cause the jars to break. Instead, store your canned food in a cool, dry place. Thanks for stopping by the Old Mayfield Place today. Stay healthy, keep preserving your food, and have a blessed week.